Hello and welcome into the Sporting Pod, along with Tony Allegretti and the returning Emerson Burris. I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up today on the pod, the women open the season with a late win. What to expect in Saturday's home opener. The men making progress, how the final 9 games of the season could play out. And we begin our Premier League contest. Feel free to play along at home. We are fed by the Bearded Pig, locally owned and operated with original locations in San Marco. Make sure you swing by the Bearded Pig for great barbecue and great times. Saw a post in my feed from somebody who was celebrating a birthday, and they went with the beef rib as their birthday meal at the Bearded Pig. And having experienced that recently, I commend them for their outstanding efforts, not only ordering but finishing said beef rib. All right,
is that a challenge? Like, what is it? Is it a difficult?
So it depends on your.
Is it like a whole rack? What?
No.
It's
Like
one rib? How much for one?
How
rib?
much for just one rib?
Yes.
But it is a big hunk of cow.
Nice.
I would say that Emerson would be challenged to finish it. As a Kansas Cityan and a big meat eater and a barbecue guy, I also ordered a side of pork. But that's just how I roll. Yeah, thank you. It's sort of like it's an occasion to eat the rib.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Nice.
So,
well, happy birthday to that guy.
yeah, whoever it was.
Yeah.
All right. The women opened up the season on Saturday with a 1-0 win at Fort Lauderdale United. Bailey DeSmith scoring in the 89th minute. The ladies host Tampa Bay Sun on Saturday, 7 o'clock at Hodges Stadium in the home opener. I am going to be interested to see, but right now I've got some theories about this season, which it's being requested to be called the fall season rather than the sprint season, so we'll refer to it there as. I believe that away wins are going to be massive, even more so than usual. And I think the first month of the season is going to be massive. If Sporting JAX can go unscathed through the first month, boy, watch out. Because I think this is going to be something that they've got. They clearly didn't play their best on Saturday against Fort Lauderdale, but they found a way to get the win. And if you're playing away, every team in this league right now, Tony, has revamped from last year or was a top 3 team last year. So very little change with Lexington, very little change with Sporting JAX, a little bit of build and growth with Carolina, but a lot more with the other teams, especially the further down the table you go from last year, the more change you see. And so Fort Lauderdale and Tampa, the first 2 matches for Sporting JAX, we're going to see a whole different thing.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It really is. And like we've got to work on the Women's U.S. Open Cup, right? Because I think that, we're coming off a preseason where we beat the champions of Wales. Mm-hmm. We beat the national champs, in NCAA. We're something to be dealt with. Our league, I would love for us to have as much success as we had last year. I know Stacey wants more, and I do too, of course. But it's an ask. It is. Mm-hmm. It is. And it's really good soccer. Man, if you haven't been to a Sporting JAX women's match, the tickets right now, the whole season is $70.
Yeah.
So, there's really, please, you owe it to yourself to come watch these people.
Emerson, we have been preparing for this first match because that's what we do, but also because it's the first broadcast that we'll have in the season. And as we start going through what's happening with Tampa, it is just they have overhauled the roster, and they have brought in players who have played, have started, and have made a difference in this league. I think this is going to be a much different Tampa team than we saw last year.
I agree, and I'm really excited for it. I was just looking at the Gamebridge Super League Instagram, and a few weeks ago they posted preseason predictions, picks to win it all. Tampa dominated 73.5%.
Yeah, now that's a fan vote, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that
but
was hacked.
I think Sporting JAX was ranked number 2, I think 10% or something like that. But I think it's going to be a great game. Tampa has brought in a lot of good talent, and I think they're really going to challenge us. I'm glad it's at home. I'm glad to be back on the sideline, and I think the newcomers, especially the ones who made their debut against Fort Lauderdale, are very excited to be at Hodges Stadium.
I think this team being Sporting JAX, is going to have great depth this year. I think they're going to be a deeper team than last season, but I don't think that depth is going to play as big a role this year. There are no mid-season games in the fall season. There are no midweek games, rather.
Yeah.
You don't have any Wednesdays. You got some Fridays, but it's not like you play Friday and then turn around and play the next Mondays. Every game Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, just weekend games, basically. And you don't have midweek games. And while there isn't a break mid-season, the season goes straight through. I don't think depth is going to be quite as big a factor over the course of the season. Where I think depth is going to be a factor is going to be late in games.
Yeah.
And how many weapons you can bring off the bench and perform late in the games. We saw that against Fort Lauderdale. You know, once the substitution started happening, fresh legs came in. It was very muggy down in Fort Lauderdale, as it has been in Jacksonville. And early in the season, games played in Florida, whether it's a Florida team as an opponent or not, everybody's going to feel it. And especially when you get some teams from up north coming down, in August and September, that's when I think you're going to see how the depth impacts things.
I hope so. I hope we see it when they come to us. Over the the history of the club, Stacy really doesn't make a lot of subs until late. So that is a
usually after the hour mark.
Yeah, definitely after the hour. But I mean, sometimes
65, 70.
Yeah, I think Macy Teeter came in at the 84th minute in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and that was helpful.
Yeah,
Macy,
absolutely.
Yeah, Macy had some of the ball for sure. So yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's one of those things, like there's not a League Cup, there's not a U.S. Open Cup, there's not these things that would have those sort of non-starters getting more minutes.
I wonder, again, with the jiving up of the calendars in the women's game, at least domestically next year, where the NWSL, I think, is starting in like mid-February because they're going to take a break for the Women's World Cup. But as that's happening, I would be surprised if we got any kind of competition like that in 27. But in 28, when the World Cup is not going to affect the calendar, I'd love to see something like that. Now, if you look at the top teams with the top stars in the NWSL, I think everybody would pick them as the best best teams.
Yeah.
But you get a top Gamebridge Super League team and a mid-table team. If both teams put everything into it, I'd love to see how that is. And it's a great measure of growth over time if you are using the right lens. We see it in the U.S. Open Cup where one team values the U.S. Open Cup, so they'll play their starters on a Wednesday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and another one will put mostly reserves in. So we'll see how this is a lot of conjecture and possibility looking forward. One of the things we talked about last week with this Sporting JAX team was the amount of returning starters, and we said that there could be 10 returning starters. If you count Maggie Illig, who was a starter for most of the end of the season last year, there were 9 starters who returned, but one of them who did start, if you go back to the beginning of last season, was the starter. That's Jamie Gerstenberg in goal, who got the clean sheet.
Yes.
And Emerson, I know that Jamie, you and Jamie talk a lot about the season and other things, and she had to be just completely pleased to be given the opportunity and then to deliver a clean sheet.
Yeah, she's very pleased. She's very confident going into this season. She said she did a lot of work in the off season and her confidence has just skyrocketed. I think she might get the start again on Saturday at home. So she definitely put in the work and it's paying off, and I'm happy to see her in the back of the net.
Hard to pull a keeper after a clean sheet, so I'd be surprised if she wasn't in there.
Yeah, we're in good hands.
Yeah. See what you did there. I see what you did there.
Either way, right? And, that's one thing I do love about this team is they're super competitive. I know that either one of them, Parks or Jamie, would relish getting in there and doing us proud. So
it's a strong room.
Abundance of riches,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. And I hear good things about Amanda Porbaugh's play as well, who's the third keeper. So, I think that's a very strong area for this team right now heading into the season, or as the season gets underway.
Is she Academy, the third keeper?
No.
She's very young.
No, she's just out of college.
Okay.
Penn State, right?
Yes, Penn State.
Nice.
We're going to see a familiar keeper on Tampa side. Christina Roque is now playing for Tampa, so it'll be nice to see her.
She did not start in their opener,
correct?
But she's on the roster, and there is an example of Tampa adding experienced.
Well, I hope she gets to play because we score on Knowles.
Yeah, there you go.
that one's for all the mean Knowles fans. I'm a Seminole. I could not.
You were really fired. You're still fired. I heard you talking about it yesterday in the office.
They were so rude.
Really?
Yes. And it was packed. For a preseason game, there's this lady behind me. I don't even know who this team is.
Oh, get out of here.
She was like, I know that girl from Duke. And actually, that wasn't mean. But it was like, I had to turn around and I said, you're losing to a pro side, a very good pro side. This is not a bad thing. Come on, lady.
There's an expectation.
Yeah.
There's an Listen, I will say this. First of all,
made me salty.
There's a very high expectation in Tallahassee for that program, as it should be, based on their successes, including winning a national championship this past season. However, I think I'm going to make this comparison to a college basketball team that plays a preseason game against, maybe a foreign pro team. If the Lithuanian national team comes into play at Cameron Indoor Stadium against Duke and they lose, well, guess what? These are professionals, and they may or may not be, household names to you, but there's a reason not every college player can play professionally, and only the very best wind up playing and starting. So.
Well, yeah, and we probably spent too much on this already, but Florida State did sub a revolving door.
Yeah, using the college.
Yeah,
subs,
and it was 1,100 degrees and super humid and all that, and I think that really favored their chances and whatever. But we outlasted them. They were physical and they were fast, and we beat them. And we need to I don't know. I think we need to celebrate that as the new national champs.
All right. So we probably won't raise a banner, but we'll just
we could.
We'll think about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as the women's season gets underway, as Tony said, the chance to come and see this terrific team from just $70 for a season ticket for one seat. It's remarkable. And Saturday at 7 p.m., the kickoff against Tampa Bay Sun, again in the home opener. And if you need to get your tickets today, call 904-863-KICK or go to sportingjax.com to join us at Hodges Stadium. Let's transition out of the men who traveled to Birmingham on Saturday after losing 1-0 to Indy 11 on a goal in the 93rd minute. Much better performance from the men. And I think we're seeing the roster and at least the starters sort of defined as I think they're going to be going forward. Marcus Godinho made his start. Played left. He's a right-footed player, so the right back is probably a more natural spot for him, but we need him at left back. We saw Jean Mota make his starting debut. He came in off the bench the previous game, made a real difference in the game, almost had a goal on a run out. And we saw the return of Juan Kuzain coming back from his very successful stint with the Malaysian national team. Tony, I like to see progress, and as we look forward, the next 6 games for Sporting JAX, there's some real opportunities. At Birmingham this weekend, at Brooklyn the following weekend, home against Lexington, Rhode Island, Hartford, and Loudoun are the next 6. And if you take the combined average points of those 6 teams, they average 21 points in that 6. That would be below the playoff line in both conferences.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity here. The last 3 games of the season, 2 of the 3 are killers. Lou City, Birmingham, and finish the season against the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Yeah, well, that's perfect. This upsetting them will be our playoffs.
It could be.
Yeah.
But my point here is, a real opportunity
Yeah.
if they continue to
We're
progress.
not playing bad. That match could have gone either way, and unfortunately, it was it's sort of in our DNA for some reason to give something up in the 90th plus, and so it is what it is. But everybody's got to be seeing the improvement, and I agree that the new guys are they're balling. Yeah.
Emerson, you experienced this weekend's games in a different setting because you were back home for your brother's wedding.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Shout out Jack in Brooklyn.
And I wonder how you followed along. I probably couldn't be doing that during the reception or something, but give me the story. How were you?
Well, when my dad and I were not tearing it up on the dance floor, we were keeping an eye on the score. We were not watching the game. There wasn't great service, but we did keep an eye on the score. If I'm going to be completely honest, I have not gone back and watched the highlights. You and I have talked about the game a little bit. But yeah, looking ahead at this schedule, I think there's definitely opportunity to get some wins on the board. I think Birmingham is a great opportunity, so I will be tuned in as much as I can. Cole, let me ask you this. You have Liam Fox on the radio show every week.
Yeah.
What did he tell you this week about the upcoming schedule?
His point has been every week it's hard in the USL Championship. Every game is a challenge. I don't think he wants to put expectations on that externally and probably also internally about the fact that this can happen. But he did acknowledge how tough the start of the schedule was.
Yeah.
And, playing Tampa and Lou City and San Antonio when they
Charleston,
were top of it was just a killer
gauntlet.
It really was. And now it can almost give you, again, these are not necessarily layups at any stretch, but it kind of gives you a chance. And I think if this team, as it's constituted now, was playing earlier in the season, we probably see different results in there. I think they've refined the roster and the squad usage to better suit the league and the understanding of how it's different East Coast to West Coast and different surfaces and all these things. So I'm expecting some results here coming down the stretch, and I know that a win would do wonders for everybody around the club.
Indeed.
So we will remind you for more on what's happening with Sporting JAX. You can catch the Sporting JAX report noon on Saturday on both Channel 4 and NBC 12. You'll get a double dose of that. You can put them on two different TVs and two different channels and see.
I had a couple screenshots or pictures sent to me of people that were watching both matches on Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
You need that second screen.
It's not great for us. It's harsh.
I mean, I will admit,
I did scream when Bailey scored, and I was in the parking lot. So.
I was doing the post-game show at that point, and we were in a package about Ashland Puerta, and we went in, it was 0-0, and then I hear in my head, hey, Sporting JAX just scored against Fort Lauderdale, and I'm scrambling to figure out who did it, and so listen, this is going to be the way it is, and I want to, for fans, for supporters, for staff, everybody, this is the way it's going to be basically from here on out. For the next 10 weeks, you've got both teams playing. Then when the men's season ends, the women will still have about a month and a half left in the season, depending on postseason. And then next year, when the schedules link up again, you're going to have 7, 8, 9 months where both we don't know the exact format for the women yet, but we're going to have both teams playing. So it's going to be a grind.
We're going to be busy.
Yep. But listen, as I was telling my daughter the other day, right, that's sort of it.
Yeah.
The never-ending story, which somehow had a sequel. But the fact that this is the way it's going to be, the games are the fun part of it for sure. All right. Also want to remind you that the radio show comes every Tuesday night. The Sporting JAX Coaches Show, presented by Honda of the Avenues on 1010XL, 6 p.m. on 1010 a.m. Tuesday evenings. You can also listen on demand or live in streaming on 1010XL.
Around the world.
Around the world.
Yeah,
around the world.
Yep.
Yes.
Around the world.
Everywhere. All right. It is time for us to begin our Premier League contest for 26-27.
We're back, baby.
No.
Can I peel back the curtain a little bit for everybody?
Sure.
So, as we know, last season, much to the chagrin of Tony Allegretti and Emerson Burris, yours truly took the title. So Tony made the suggestion that what if we change up the format a little bit? I'm all for it. Let's do it. There was a suggestion initially. This is probably going to confuse people, but hey, let's do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That instead of using the rules as we did last season, that you could only pick the same winner twice. You can't pick the same team more than twice. What about if you can't pick the loser?
Right.
Twice. And I get your point about that.
Yeah, because everybody take a whole.
Whoever's playing against the promoted teams or who's ever struggling. Yeah. Then Emerson brought up a good point, which was, well, they're not going to just take Arsenal and
every day.
Man City every week or something.
Yeah. Then that won't work.
Which I'm not. Yeah. So we're going to go back to the old ways.
The old tried and true.
Yeah, and we're going to do it so you can only pick a team twice throughout the course of the season. So. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, Tony.
Yeah, I'm going to make it easy. Probably the first couple of weeks, and just take Everton over Palace.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're sticking with your boys.
Well, I'm just going to get them out of the way, and then I won't have to think about them the rest of the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Emerson, your pick.
Well, my first pick last season was Arsenal, and they did win it all, but I did not win it all, so I'm not doing that again.
Okay.
This week, I am picking Chelsea over Fulham.
Ooh.
That's a Monday night game, by the way, or Monday afternoon game.
Monday night football.
Monday, 3 p.m. football.
Well, it's a night there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a derby.
Yes,
Indeed.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Because Chelsea is in Fulham.
Technically,
it's not in Chelsea.
Technically, that is true. Yeah. Stamford Bridge. All right, so I am going to go the easy way here. I want to get off to a good start.
Okay.
And I'm taking Arsenal over Coventry,
All right.
which I think should be
risky.
It's not, though, right? It's not a risky pick, but it's risky from a strategy standpoint, right? That all right,
you're taking one off the table.
Right, taking it right. I am just going to tell you guys, and you can strategize against this if you like. I am going to go pretty conservative early on here until we really understand. There has been so much change in the Premier League.
Indeed.
I mean, player change and massive manager change, particularly among some of the top teams. I was listening to another podcast from The Athletic, the Totally Football podcast, which I recommend. And one of the reporters mentioned that there are these sort of chapters in the Premier League that you could take. Here's sort of an era, in other words.
Like Taylor Swift.
Thank you.
Clearly, that's the connection. But when you see that there is no more of some of the, some of these big managers who had been there, some of who, like Guardiola, departed this year, some of whom in the last couple of years, Klopp, for instance, there's sort of 10 or 12 year chapter that the book has kind of closed on with the Premier League. And now you have all these new managers, even at the big clubs, and, Xabi Alonso now with Chelsea, starts the new deal. Obviously, Arne Slot is gone from Liverpool. You've got a new man at Man City. You've had recent turnover at Man U. So you've got with these big clubs going through a lot of change. And so this is in some ways you would look at it and say, Arsenal's going to win the league. They're the best team in the league. But what does 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 look like? I mean, I think it's wide open.
Kind of wide open, yeah. I think the bucking that trend is Moyes at Everton is like the most 1990s thing that could ever happen.
It's a revision of 3 chapters ago.
Yeah, it's not very exciting. Whatever that would be like the Taylor Swift retirement era,
remixing songs from her second album.
Yeah, exactly. Not that exciting. Anyway, I think it's wide open, especially like you're saying the top 8. It's going to be really interesting.
Yep. All right, those are our picks. I've got Arsenal. Emerson has Chelsea. Tony has Everton to start our Premier League contest, and the winner
is Tony.
Well, no, the winner gets dinner on the other 2, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Another dinner.
We will be having our
awards dinner
coming up next week. We'll talk about it. I guess we'll be after we tape the podcast in the Gemstone Media Studios, but we'll
talk about it in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. There's a little something in the back of my head that says Emerson might want to chime in here. On
yes,
something.
I have something to say. A little inside scoop.
Okay.
The other day, after women's practice, Sophie Jones pulled me aside and has invited me to join the team's Premier League contest as well as their fantasy football league. I still haven't decided if I'm going to do that. It might be a lot on my plate considering. But I'm going to get updates from her every week how their contest is going,
great.
and I can update you guys, and we can talk about it on the pod.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's good.
Okay.
And then, of course, at the end of the Premier League season, then the winner of our contest and the winner of their contest fight for the championship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
Arm wrestle.
Yeah.
Or how about this? I'll commit to this if we do it at Uptown again. We can do a double dinner. Like they could come
celebrate both champions.
Their winner and our winner can they can come to our dinner.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. This is the time in the podcast where Tony breaks format.
Okay, so we heard about the $70 all you can eat tickets or the you know what I'm saying, the
season
tickets for that, and you might be at home going, yeah, but the beers are probably $10. No, the beers are $1.
So awesome.
And the hot dogs are $1. I don't think that's going to be necessarily every home match, but I know it is for the first couple.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you, like this is fun for everybody is suffering with gas prices and just eggs, whatever you name it. Like we've got, it's just expensive, and so
it really is.
So you can put those things aside. $70 like literally is a couple beers at another pro game. Like this is a whole season. Get a couple tickets. Bring your fam. Bring your loved one. And
drink a beer.
Drink a beer, and also this the tailgate. We're always doing the tailgate. So last week was Tendy Fest, which was super good and yummy.
What's this weekend?
Mildred, my Winn-Dixie Tendy chef, made these tenders last week with so much love, and we were so appreciative. So shout out Mildred at the Winn-Dixie on St. John's Bluff and Beach. This week we're back to grilling and chilling with our chef Facundo, and we are going to have sausages and onions and the peppers and onions and dogs. Please come back.
Important question.
Yes.
You said you're going to be grilling and chilling.
Yes.
Will there be any illin?
Yeah, I'm licensed to ill.
Okay, yeah.
So a lot of people call me Ill Clinton.
Mm-hmm. I think you know what time it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes.
Google Beastie Boys later, Emerson.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, I got something.
Beastie I be.
Yep.
I am very excited for the game in general, but I get to do halftime interviews again because we don't do halftime interviews for the men. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be doing halftime, I think, right?
I believe so.
We're going to do that. So then I will get my hot dog after halftime interview.
Nice.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's all.
All right. Look forward to seeing everybody out at Hodges Stadium for the women's home opener on Saturday. For Tony Allegretti and Emerson Burris, I'm Cole Pepper. Thanks so much for listening to The Sporting Pod.